Let me send this out. Hello, sunshine. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. I'm not going to be in here long for real today because I'm going to be saying that, but I'm really not going to be in here really long because I have to get ready for the rest of my evening on today. But come on in because I wanted to do this really, really quick live about your patterns and how some people feel like delay is one thing when it's really a pattern. Most things that you do operate from a space of a pattern. Excuse me. And this is coming from today on Substack. I dropped, and y'all, I gotta fix my nail too. That's another thing. I dropped this letter basically that says, you're repeating, you're not confused. And it was talking specifically about the 42 lessons that I have learned because today is my 42nd birthday. Okay. So I am so excited about what I dropped. It really supports women in understanding patterns. So if you find yourself in a space where you keep repeating patterns, right? This live is going to help you, and going to subscribe to my Substack so you can read that article is also going to support you. Okay. So yeah, so I'm talking about something today. I'm really excited. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited about what I created for you guys, and it's only going to be for today because today is my birthday. Thank you. And so, but yeah, I didn't even introduce myself. Sorry. For those who do not know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette. I am a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients who are high functioning women. I support them in learning how to lead, how to love, and how to earn from emotional power and not survival mode, because that is what most women have been doing. Okay. And so today specifically, thank you so much. So today specifically, I'm going to be talking about the pattern that you call timing. Okay. Delay is a pattern. So if you're in a space where you should be moving your feet or you should be doing something, but you're not doing it, delay is going to cause you an issue. Okay. So like I said, if you haven't already, or if you're not, make sure you subscribe to my Substack. I'm going to give you a little bit of I got pretty vulnerable on my Substack today because a lot happened in my 41st year with my dad passing away and different things like that. So because of that, I was inspired by a really, really good friend of mine who's also in the industry, who also coached me to write out, wins or lessons and different things like that. And I normally write out goals. And so I decided to do that. So here are just a few of them, right? The first part of this is today I turned 42. This year didn't ask me to become louder or more visible. It asked me or required me to become more clear. Some lessons came through progress. Some lessons came through repetition. Some lessons came through loss. For clarity, I'm naming them across 3 spectrums: life, business, and relationships, because they rarely operate separately. So and then I have a picture of me and my daddy. So that was my daddy, right? And so then I have life. One of the lessons that I have in life is that I learned that losing my father permanently changed my standards. I already had standards before, but it permanently changed mine when that timeline started to cleanse, okay? When I talked about in business, I learned that emotional regulation impacts income sustainability, okay? I also learned in business, thank you, my love, that money doesn't equal emotional safety. Okay. These are hard lessons, and I'm giving you 42 of them in this Substack article. Okay. In relationships, I learned that chemistry does not predict stability. I learned emotional mismatch, thank you, my love, produces repeated disappointment. So if you gonna want to know more and more about this and the patterns that I caught and how I caught the patterns, make sure you click the link in my bio to go sign up for my Substack, because that's the article that I dropped today. You can click the link in my bio to get access, and you can read all 42, and then it gets down to how you can get into the pattern recognition lens, which is what I'm going to talk a little bit about today before I go finish my day off, because I got a lot of stuff to do. Okay, thank y'all so much for these gifts. Okay, and thank y'all for the happy birthdays. Um, so we're talking about today briefly the pattern you call timing, because delay is a pattern whether you realize it or not. And I kind of just want to start off with saying something direct, because a lot of women believe that they are confused, or, when they're not really confused, they're actually exhausted. That's really the issue. So your delay is not something that's random. Your hesitation is not confusion. Your, how can I say this? Your starting over is not necessarily a reset for you. It's actually a pattern. So what I'm going to teach you in this live is what has taken, it took me, how long did it take me? Because I always want to speak in truth. Thank you, my love. Be able to catch my patterns. I started really paying attention to my patterns around year 33. Year 33. Yeah. 33 and a half. I was started picking up and paying attention to my patterns from my 20s and all those different things. So that's what made me start doing that. And so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you the method, or give you access to the method on how to be able to do this for yourself, because I'm going to be really honest with y'all. We are no longer in a timeline where you have a learning curve. The era that we are in currently requires you to be attentive. It requires you to guard your heart. It requires you to be alert, because you're surrounded by savages and parasites. Men, family, might be work, but you're surrounded you live in a parasitic society. And one way to protect yourself is to be very, very clear and aware on who you are, being very attentive to what you desire, not necessarily know the difference between your desires and your wants. So you can make decisions for your life and you see the fruit that you like. You see healthy fruit. What I'm going to teach you and what I'm talking about in my article is 42 lessons that I learned the hard way, so you don't have to learn them. So like I said, I'm very transparent in that, so make sure that you go back and you read it. But I just want you to understand that the things that are happening in your life, as far as you delaying and you stalling, it's a pattern. And see, once you figure out something is a pattern, you can always rewire, you can always reroute, you can always change up the pattern. You don't have to continue to do the same thing. We hit the default within ourselves, our default response, because we never programmed any other response. Until it made sense to you and you were told that if you hit somebody, it's a chance that you're going to go to jail. When we were children, when somebody hit us, we simply hit them back until we were told that's not okay. But if we were trained on, my first reaction is when you hit me, for me to hit you back. Unless I have another default, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And that's what's happening in your life with your patterns. And delay is a pattern. But you got to get down to the root of why you are delaying. Okay? So let's go ahead and get straight into defining a pattern. Because like I said, I'm not going to be here real long. But the loop kind of looks like this. And you may hear yourself in some of the things that I'm saying. You will get clarity. You'll get momentum. You'll be in a space where you want to be visible, but then the pressure increases. See, it start getting a little heavy. And then you start to question yourself. So then chest getting tight. You start to slow down or shut down in a way, because you're not necessarily standing in the fullness of yourself. Okay? You lose your peace. You lose your pace. Your confidence begins to dip. Because the more you slow down, and you can think about this from the space of business. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. You can think about this from the space of a health journey. Think about when you really do some work and you really start seeing some results in your body. And then you start feeling this internal pressure to continue to keep going and to keep up. Because sometimes, and I'm going to tell you something as a person who's lost 100 pounds, you have to be very careful when you are losing weight like that. Because if the body moves faster, if the mind hasn't caught up, if the self-esteem hasn't caught up to the body, you're going to have a problem. And that's what happens with a lot of people. So they feel like they have this pressure and they make this experience their identity. And so when they start to fall down into old habits because they never, the mind and the self-esteem never caught up with the body, and things start coming too, and that person starts to fall off and fall down, and this and this and this and that, confidence dips. All these things start to happen. And then your body basically just says, we're going to stop. We're not doing this anymore. Okay, great. And you keep calling it, we're going to stop and we're going to start over. We're going to stop and we're going to start over. But nothing is ever resetting because you're not actually being consistent. You're doing this yo-yoing. What I'm going to talk about, or what this is, I don't want you to feel like this is a mindset issue. Like I'm not strong enough mentally to do X, Y, Z. It has nothing to do with that. It's not a discipline issue. It's not even a motivation issue. Honestly, it's a capacity issue. You know, when women say that they don't have the time to take care of themselves, you know what they really are saying? They're really saying that I prioritize everything and everyone else before me in such a way to where there is no room to really even consider myself. Even though I'm the person who is filling these roles, I'm not fueling the woman. And this is where a lot of women make a huge mistake, and they sacrifice in the name of things like love, which no one ever, I know why we do that, but we shouldn't do that. It doesn't even tell you to do that if you're a person who lives by scripture, right? I'm a believer. So if you're a person who lives by scripture, then that doesn't even tell you to do that in scripture. There's nowhere in scripture that tells you to sacrifice yourself. Scripture teaches you how to manage your capacity. Scripture teaches you how to set boundaries. Scripture protects you and lets you know about setting boundaries, even with your parents. See, y'all be letting people play y'all because you don't really read and get an understanding for yourself. You have, in order for you to tap in and to really transform the life that you want, hi, Lovey, you're going to have to get rooted in who you are spiritually. You're lacking confidence. When one of the worst things that you can do, one of the worst things that can happen to you in this society is for you not to have any confidence. I'm so serious. Especially living in the States. I'm so serious. Thank you, Lovey, for these gifts. It is the worst. And I'm not talking about fake confidence. I'm dead serious. Because belief in yourself is vital. But in order to believe in something, you have to know yourself. You have to be committed to it. You have to train yourself on it. And a lot of us have traded convenience and, traded things for convenience and have not realized the importance of like being really rooted in the truth of who you are. You're focused on everything else. How do you interpret scripture functionally? So I can't speak for anyone else. I'm going to tell you how I process it real quick. Not to interrupt, but I took that test last night and I almost screamed. Girl, I'm about to say something about that test in a minute too, because there's somebody on here who need to take that test. I'm gonna let them get right too. How do I let me go into the question. I'm sorry. How do I interpret scripture functionally? So here's the thing about me. My study of scripture has been an 8-year long study. Okay. So I had a spiritual awakening, my life crashed. I went to the one that created me because that's what I was trained to do as a child. But this is the first time that I have ever gone for myself as an adult with true understanding, with a broken heart. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't really know how to live after my best friend died. So, and I was the strong one. I'm the oldest. I'm the first one in the family to go to school, to do this, all that. Yeah, all the first, she right here. So with all of that pressure, I couldn't handle it. And that death was so sudden. So when that happened, and I rooted myself, and I asked the Most High, and I said, I want to know you, but I was just real. I was just real. I was like, I want to know you, but it gotta make sense to me. And the more I allowed myself to spend time in dissecting, I started to realize that the scripture was a code. So when it said things like tattooing the word on your heart, these things were for you to be able to keep with you when you find yourself about to violate yourself. See, we violate ourselves when we're sitting on the frequency of desperation. We violate ourselves when we are on the frequency of fear. Okay? We in trying to make decisions in those two areas are extremely dangerous, which is why it's very important when you are afraid, when you are in a state of fear, you are to remember that the Most High hasn't given you the spirit of fear. So you immediately have to ask yourself, where is it coming from? Who is it being transferred? What is this really? What are you actually afraid of? What are you truly afraid of? And see, people don't want to really ask that type of question because it you can't answer it, but it's going to require you to ask more questions. See, people, we've been reared to have a relationship with the Most High from a fear-based space. If you don't do it, you're going to go to hell. And this is why you must do your research. If you have not done your research on hell, I challenge you to do your research on it. I challenge you to find out the origin. I challenge you to really find out what that is. Because, and I've broken this down before. I can't remember. I think it's in a live I've done before. But when you look up hell in the Strong's Concordance, it's going to give you, I believe, like 4 aspects of it, words that's for it. And you can read those and get a better understanding of those things. Because once you get a better understanding of building a relationship with your Creator in love, your gifts begin to heighten. Like one thing, a gift that I have, I'm claircognizant. I've always been claircognizant. I've always had a knowing. I never really understood what that was. But when I got rooted in real relationship with my Creator, with the Most High God, that heightened. And it heightened in a way that scared me. But also in a way that let me know that I was covered and protected as long as I was in alignment. So as I began to read the scripture and different things like that, those things I needed. So should I get afraid of something, or should I be in a space where fear energy is coming around, then okay, number one, the Most High wouldn't put fear in me. The Most High would give me a warning if something is about to happen. If I'm listening, if I'm attentive, if I'm in tune and I'm communing, I can hear. So what am I actually afraid of? That immediately checks my fear. If I find myself in a state of worry, that's a spiritual violation. It tells me not to worry. Why should I not be worried? Because my needs are always supplied. I'm never lacking anything for real. Like everything always works out exactly the way it's supposed to work out. So what exactly am I worried about? Worrying is rooted in lack. But see, to worry is a pattern. Okay? It's a pattern. Because you got that from somebody. You probably got that from your mama. A lot of us were raised in household where we're adults now and we can't deal with reality because we have so much anxiety because of the way we were raised. Because here's the truth of the matter. As an adult, we all know you got to pay bills. As an adult, you understand that people die every day. As an adult, you understand that people break up and get divorced every single day, and some people ain't supposed to be together. But your childhood issues, okay? Your childhood issues are making you feel like you need to be attached to this idea of this individual idea of marriage you're supposed to have, and you suffering in something, and then you saying it's God didn't listen, and then you let people pimp you by saying things like, don't let no man tear up what the Most High put together, or what the Most High, here's the thing about that. Did the Most High put that together? Because, see, I can keep it real with you and tell you, as a woman who was married for 8 years, the Most High didn't put that together, baby. I chose that. And I had to eat that. See, that's what radical accountability looks like. I chose that and I had to eat that. You understand? You will never hear me get on here and dog my ex-husband. Women have asked me, why did you get divorced? Ma'am, I don't even do that. Because I respect him too much. Regardless of our dynamic. I ain't got no issue. It wasn't in alignment. That's the facts. And when things are misaligned, they don't work out. It's not sustainable. You understand? It's not sustainable. And women have to, and what I learned from that experience is sustainability has to start at home first, in this temple. So that required me to go and look at my patterns, which is why I wrote the Substack that I wrote, 42 lessons that I learned, on my 42nd birthday, or things that I've come to. Some of those lessons, like I said, they're repeats. Some of those lessons are things I had to learn through loss. Losing my daddy taught me a lot. What I have learned about myself in this experience is death for me opens up another aspect of myself. An aspect that was always there, but it's like the people who leave me always leave me with something. And I'm grateful very much so to the Most High for that. And because of my willingness to go back and look at my life, I've been able to catch these patterns and realize why I couldn't keep certain stuff, why I could make money quick and I couldn't hold it, why I could start relationships with men and they be great and they fall down, why I could start this good thing at a job and then this, why I could start this project and then I wouldn't do this. I didn't have the capacity. And I didn't have the capacity because I didn't have value. I didn't have standards. And I didn't have standards because I didn't have values. I didn't have values because I didn't know I was valuable. And the reality of the situation is women who don't protect their spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, social, and financial health, they don't see the value in themselves enough to protect assets. So if you're not protecting yourself, there is no way that you are going to be protecting anything else outside of yourself. Period. Thank you, my loves. Period. It's no way. And we have to be honest about that. If you want things to shift in your life, then you have to understand that you're going to have to reprogram your mind, which it tells you that in scripture as well. Everything I teach is rooted in scripture, backed up by science. Okay? Yes, I research scripture. So what I do is I read the Ethiopian Bible, canon, that's one. So I read that. I don't read the King James Bible. And I have a whole video on YouTube where that breaks down why I don't read that. So strongly suggest just kind of go over there and read it, and I break all of it down over there. But let me get out of Almost Central because I got to get off here because I have dinner with my family in a little bit. So, you're about to buy it? Yes, go ahead and get it. It's going to make a lot more sense to you if you struggle with the King James. Okay? So let me talk about why so many intelligent, self-aware women live in the land of almost. Okay? So, love, you didn't hear what I said. I said everything I teach is rooted in scripture, backed up by science. That's exactly what I said. So I'm confused. Okay. So women who fall into the land of almost, right? Almost consistent, almost healed, almost disciplined, almost emotionally grounded, okay? Almost becoming the woman that they say that they want to be, okay? Your mind might be ready. Your insight may be extremely real. You may feel really, really strong, but you keep finding yourself in scenarios where you keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. It's not necessarily the sabotage that you think. The sabotage is the symptom, okay? It's actually the pattern memory that keeps you rolling in that, okay? It's the pattern memory that puts you in position to repeat that. Your nervous system is only, and I did a live on this the other day, your nervous system is only going to go after what is familiar. That's it. That's why you keep repeating the same patterns with money, okay? That's why you keep repeating the same patterns with men. That's why you keep repeating the same matters or patterns when it comes down to impulsivity, even when it comes down to food. All of these things matter. If you're quick, in a sense, with men, you quickly attach, want things extremely swiftly, not really patient, all that impulsivity is going to cause you problems when it comes down to food, when it comes down to finances, when it comes down to the fellas. If that's how you move, you're going to find issues and all of that with impulsivity because you're not willing to be patient with yourself. You're not willing to sit with yourself. And not being able to sit with yourself is vital. It's vital. Okay? So it's extremely, extremely, extremely important. What a lot of women tend to struggle with, or I'll say get wrong, is that most women try to fix repetition, right? With more discipline, maybe more planning, stricter rules or routines that they may have. What's another thing that they may do? Um, Mindset hacks, or I'm being serious this time. But nothing seems to really work because patterns don't break through force. And I think that's the thing that we have to remember. Patterns do not break through force, they break through recognition. You have to know what is happening. I always say, you know why women struggle to practice self-care? It's because they're missing 3 steps prior to self-care. And if y'all see darkness on my nails, I dyed some hair the other day. But if you pay attention to the woman who has 4 children, who may be going to get her nails done, yes, that's going to be a great experience. That's going to be amazing. She's going to love that. She's going to need that because she's getting peace and quiet. She still can be herself. You as a person who lives by yourself, you as a person who, you don't have a family. You don't have a family like immediate family like you are. What's this thing not going here? You're not married, right? So if you go to the nail shop, for you, that's just basically maintenance, right? So I think that it's extremely important and very vital that you know that that's not going to work for you, just like that worked for the other woman. She needs quiet. That's why her going to the nail shop works for her, okay? You, on the other hand, have to become self-aware, number one, about what it is that you truly need. You have to be compassionate with yourself and take the time to tell people no. You have to radically accept the fact that you've allowed yourself to let yourself go, whatever that looks like, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, because you didn't have boundaries. So now it's showing up physically, socially, and financially. And so once you realize those things, then you can actually implement care. Okay? You can implement care. You can't implement care without awareness. You can't implement care without compassion. You can't implement care without acceptance. And this is across the board. So if this is how you are supposed to be with yourself, imagine the ways that you believe that you're caring for somebody else, but you really ain't caring for them because you really ain't aware of what they want, as long as they're doing what you want. You're not really compassionate with them. You're not really accepting them for who they are because you're trying to change them. You know what that means? You don't really care about them. Because one thing I think that people have to also understand, because when we think about love, people think about possession and they think about obsession, when in reality, love is freedom. Love is truth. And if a person is living in the fullness of their truth and you can't accept that, you can't possibly care for that either. Okay? So if you're not willing to be aware of yourself, if you're not willing to be compassionate with yourself, if you're not willing to accept the current state that you were in order for you to shift into a different state, then you cannot possibly practice self-care. That's why you think the nail shop is self-care, even though you still be stressed out when you come back from the nail shop. You're not aware of what it is that you actually need. And that's an issue. That's a problem. Because if you're not aware of what you need and you are out here talking about you doing a relationship, you playing a dangerous game with yourself and somebody else. This is how the whole terminology hurt people. That's literally what this is. I'm not even kidding around. It's the fact that people don't know themselves and you're getting in relationship with somebody else who doesn't know themselves and you think that you have chemistry. Meanwhile, there's an explosion because we have two chemical energies that did not belong in the same space like that. And these are the things that we're not thinking about. These are the things that we're not thinking about. Exactly. Exactly. So people have to grasp that understanding. Like I said, patterns don't break through force. They break through recognition. You have to recognize what's going on first. Okay? If you don't know, because here's the thing I want you to grasp. If you don't know where the loop actually begins, what triggers it, when your identity actually shrinks, what silence is actually costing you because you're not speaking your truth and you're not really speaking what it is that you feel. It don't matter how intentional that you are or you believe you're being. I don't care how intentional, I don't care how many times you write it down. I don't care how many times you say it in the mirror. I don't care about none of that. You're going to keep repeating the same thing, even with the best intentions, because you're not recognizing what's going on. Y'all just out here allowing yourself to be triggered, not even realizing that that's an energy transference. Thank you, my love. All praises to the Most High. Like, you're not even realizing why would you give somebody that much power? Arguing is witchcraft. No, I've seen it, but I don't speak on things that I don't have full knowledge of. And to be honest with you, it's some things I saw in the very first video that let me know this is not worth continuing watching. Because we as women have to take accountability. That's literally all I have to say about that. If you don't take accountability, and I stand on this statement right here too. I've said this for many years. Pay attention when people break up, when people get divorced. Pay attention to the person who is always talking negative about the scenario. Pay attention to the one who's always talking negative about the other person, the entire scenario, and how they were done the entire time. And you will find the one who has not taken accountability for that experience, for their participation in that experience. And if they don't take accountability in an experience where they were so-called intimate with someone in the heart space, probably in the body space, whatever that y'all swapping fluid and spirits. You understand what I'm saying? So let's not even play the game. Let's not even play the game. So you didn't got over here with this person. And you wondering why? Like nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you are simply not paying attention. That is something I've been saying forever. And if you've been following me for a long time, you know this, right? Nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention. Because guess what? I ask the Most High about everybody. I'm going on a date, I'm asking the Most High. See, I ain't scared. Nobody is that fine. And I think this is an aspect of self-mastery. There is not a man on this earth that I'm willing to sacrifice my purpose for. He's so amazing. He's so that. And the reason why I'm here, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to hold on to him, even though this is going to hurt me. I don't care about nobody that much. I don't care. Why would I do that? Why would I do that when it literally tells me in scripture to love your neighbor as you love yourself? And I love myself because what we doing? What we doing? So I mean, what we doing? Nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you weren't paying attention. There are always signs. Even when you watch the show Evil Lives Here, and they always talk about how people, you know, and they always say there were always signs. Even when you watch shows like Snapped, there were always signs that that man didn't have no respect. He didn't have no this. He didn't have no. There are always signs. It's about whether or not we are paying attention. One thing that I've heard consistently, and it's very true, if a woman really, really wants you and she really, really like you, ain't gotta lie to her. She's gonna lie to herself. I've seen it a multitude of times. We will act like something is not exactly what we see that it is. And that is also a pattern. Avoidance. See, it goes back into acceptance. See, this is when women say, "Oh, I care about myself." No, you don't, baby, because if you cared about yourself, you wouldn't accept that. See, I know better. Care is the fourth element of self. See, I have a whole self-love formula that I have worked out because I have a formula type of mind. So the thing is, what I've realized is in order to care for yourself, if you're not doing them three, if you don't accept yourself, if you can't accept other people for who they are, even if that means releasing them because you don't align, okay? Because you don't align with them, that means releasing them, but you accept them for who they are. See, when you get in that type of space and you're not offended to release them because you accept them for who they are, because you're not aligned with them, and that's okay. That's when I know you've accepted the realness of yourself, because most people think that they're good people, and the scripture tells you, sweetheart, actually, the heart is actually deceitful. See, we have to stop playing these games. When you really get to know the root of yourself and really get to know yourself, you realize positions you put yourself in because you didn't value yourself. Unless you were trained and taught from childhood to carry yourself and to be in that way and your self-esteem was built, nah, we have to do some work to retrain that. Because so a man thinking in his heart, so is he. So what you believe about yourself is the reality. And your perception is not always reality, but your perception is important because perception plus perspective plus patterns equals your relationship with yourself and your relationship with everything else outside of yourself, the masculine and money and food. The biggest issues that women are having: food, men, and money. Food, men, and money. Okay? So even if you have the best intentions, if you're not aware of yourself, first key, you can't care for yourself. If you're not aware when the loop begins, where the trigger starts, where your identity shrinks, what silence is costing you, you're going to continue to repeat this. I don't care how good your intentions are. I don't care how many visions boards you create. It's not going to matter. You have got to pay attention to the pattern. This is why I created the pattern recognition lens. Okay? It's not a course. It's not a, how can I say? It's a lens. It's simple. It's a lens. It's a simple structured tool that's going to show you where the loop begins, where your system overrides your intention, where your identity collapses. Yeah, I got to fix my nail. Ignore that. Why momentum dies, and the cost of staying in that same cycle. That's what you're going to find out. Now, once again, let me just go on and tell you, if this is your first time here, I am not for the weak. And what I mean by I am not for the weak, I'm in the fullness of my feminine power and my feminine energy, right? My assignment, however, is to get to the root of things. If you don't want to see the truth of yourself, you may not want to get this. Another thing that I'm gonna tell you after this too, and I'm about to tell you right now, because I know a lot of y'all let me say, because it's been about it's 100 of y'all who then took that diagnostic in my bio. It's 100. When last time I checked, it was 109 of y'all. I just released that diagnostic last week. It's 109 of y'all that have gotten my bio and taking that diagnostic, which means that y'all are really interested in how y'all attracting and what's going on with money and men, because it really shows. But I hope and I pray, because I told y'all, you are responsible for what you know about yourself, what you realize about yourself within yourself. You're responsible for what you know. So you taking all these diagnostics and stuff I'm giving you, you getting a pattern recognition tool, you gonna be held accountable for what you know. See, you can't be like you the victim, you didn't know, you this, you that. No. I'm putting you in a position to see you based on what you tell, what I've programmed. Whatever you answer the quiz honestly, it's gonna tell you the truth. And everybody who's taken the quiz said it has read them their rights. She said, I was shaking my head. It was too accurate. Oh, yes, it's accurate. I programmed it very well based on my skills. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that diagnostic, because the pattern recognition lens, I'm gonna come back to that. But let me say this too. The pattern recognition lens, it today only is $22. It's originally $42. It's something that I hold in the back, but I put it to the front. It's $22 today. You can click the link in the bio to get access to it. If you know you keep repeating patterns, this is gonna help you see exactly what the pattern is, where it starts, you know, how to stop it, what it's gonna cost you if you keep going. So we don't have time to be playing. Okay. Thank you, my love. I appreciate that. So, okay. So the second thing, the diagnostic that I'm talking about, the feminine architecture diagnostic, okay, is what I like to call the full picture. So pattern recognition is going to show you where the pattern is. The diagnostic is going to show you the architecture behind it. So the pattern is the symptom. The architecture is behind it, okay? So it's going to reveal the following. Hey, Joseph. It's going to reveal your magnetic bond vetting score. It's going to reveal your feminine magnetism value score. It's going to reveal your magnetic presence score. And it tells you the following, okay? This is exactly what it's going to tell you. It's going to tell you why you attach the way you do to men. It's going to tell you, because here's the thing that you got to understand too. You're not supposed to be attached to anything of this world. So what I'm doing is revealing your attachments to you and giving you an opportunity to take advantage of that and really do something about it, or stay the same. Hey, do whatever you want to do, okay? Do what works for you. But I'm just here to tell you. So it's going to tell you exactly why you attach the way you do. It's going to tell you why you hesitate under pressure. It's going to tell you why expansion feels unsafe. It's going to tell you a whole lot of stuff about you. Who you attract, why you attract, what determines how you attract, what shows up in your magnetic field, all of that. Your vulnerabilities, your strengths. See, it's going to show you all your weak points and everything. It's going to tell you you. So don't go over there if you don't want to know about you, because it's going to tell you about you. Okay? Now, it's also going to tell you what it is that you need as a product to help you. If you have attachment issues, it's highly likely going to recommend loving the nervous system. Loving the nervous system is going to support you in removing those attachments. Okay? I used to be anxiously attached. I used to cut up. Okay? I used to cut up. So understanding what I know and what I have been taught and what I understand in scripture is the power of boundaries and how much emotional mastery. Okay? So this is something that's very, 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 very vital. And understanding that emotional mastery put me in a position to be able to learn how I'm not supposed to be attached to the things of this world. Understanding finality is a part of every single reality, because every single month there's birth and death, because we have our cycles. There's birth and death happening every single month. So understanding that death is a part of every single reality helps you to understand that nothing is forever. So it helps you get rid of the fantasy of forever. Okay? We have the fantasy of forever up here that keeps us in a loop and keeps us consistently in scenarios that we do not need to be in. You have to pay attention to what is within you that's causing you to continue to repeat these cycles. And you also have to figure out when you're triggered, what to do next. Do you want to keep going down this path? Because this is what this is going to look like, okay? But if you take the quiz, when you take the diagnostic, It's gonna give you love in the nervous system. Is if you have attachment issues, love in the nervous system is 42% off today because I'm 42 today. So it's only for today. Um, love in the nervous system right now is 222, and I think with the 42% off, I can't remember what it put it at, and I don't feel like doing math, but it was. I feel like it was somewhere around between 127, 140, somewhere in there. I can't remember. Hey, Lovey, and then if you get emotional foundations, which is saying that you need to work on your emotional baseline because you're too emotionally reactive, then that course is regularly $297. Thank you, Lovey. But today I believe it's like 174 or something like that. Thank you so much, and thank you for the gifts. So it's 42% off today, and it'll be like 170 something. So you can click the link in the bio to be able to get access to that. So you can get the pattern recognition for $22. You can get Love in the Nervous System today for somewhere between 120 and 140. I just can't remember. And then I'm pretty sure that foundations, if you use the code B-Day, and that's the code that you have to use B-Day to be able to get the 42% off each one of those. It's only on Love in the Nervous System, Emotional Foundations, and yeah, that's it. Pattern recognition is $22. And yes, you can use Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay on the ones for that are 42% off too. So normally they're $222 and $297. You're getting them for like the ones. I wanted to do this today in addition to the 42 lessons that I wrote out on Substack. That seems to be really tear-jerking. A lot of people who have been reading it. So thank you, love. So yeah, but what questions do you guys have for me? My biggest thing is that me putting out those 42 lessons is me catching the patterns so I didn't repeat them. If you know that you keep repeating the patterns, go ahead and click the link in the bio and go ahead and get the pattern recognition lens for $22. It's only $22 today. The original price for it, thank you, Lovey, is $42, but it is $22 today only, and that is for my birthday. So yeah, so what questions do you guys have for me before I get off here and start getting myself together for this dinner? Any questions? Any questions? But yeah, delay is a pattern, and you got to figure out the trigger, the loop start, like all of that. And when you get that, I'm telling you, when you can do it for one thing, you can do it for another. For those of you who get the pattern recognition lens, do it for, here's what I can tell you to do it for. That really will help you if you really want to see something real quick. If your issue is men, you get easily distracted. You get in relationships and all that type of stuff. There's absolutely no judgment, none of that. Do it with the men. Go back and look at all the ones that you were really serious about, the ones that you was acting real dumb about, all of that. Think about all of them and figure out what the pattern is. Go back to where it started, you know, how it was in the beginning. Run the pattern. Where did it switch? Where did you participate? See, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for where did you participate? We're not focusing on him. See, we spend too much energy focusing on the wrong thing. We have to focus on ourselves because we participated or we gave permission somewhere in this experience, because there is no way that a person can drain the life out of you, because when you realize that they were draining you, why didn't you pull the plug? See, one thing about me is this. The energy that I give as a woman is something I like to call life support energy, right? I like to call it life support energy. I can build you up with my words. I know exactly what to say. I know exactly what to do. I have this, I am that type of person, right? But because I am that type of person, and I am a woman of character and integrity and different things, I can sniff out. My energy makes when women and men either rise up into the truth of who they are, or run away from me because they scared I'm gonna see them. But I already see you. Once you're in my space, I already see you. So it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna judge you, but I already see you. Because I ask the Most High by everybody. So I get revelations. It don't take me long. I only gotta meet you one time. I know what it is. You know? So because of that understanding and me knowing that and staying in that energy, you got to understand, when you are in a space of self-mastery, people are going to run or they're going to rise up. You should be okay with Both. You should be okay with both. Because when you get in the state of that, you want alignment. Alignment is something that's what's going to give you peace. The reason why a lot of people are sick working these corporates or 9 to 5s, hey VZ, and exhausted is because they're staying in a space that they are misaligned in. They're staying in a space of misalignment, and now it's affecting their health. At first, it was getting on their nerves mentally. Then it start giving them anxiety to even get a phone call about it. See, now it's in your chest. It's in your emotions. So when it goes from your head to your emotions, where you think it's going next? It's going to the body. You're going to feel it physically. So when you start feeling it physically, you just keep going because now you feel like you need the job because now you got to pay for the medical condition that you didn't develop from staying at the place that's making you sick. Misalignment is a real thing. Alignment is what brings forth peace. And I ain't even sitting here telling you that every single time that alignment feels good. Because there are some periods of alignment that don't feel good. It didn't feel good losing my daddy in August. That still doesn't feel good. But see, that was what was aligned. When he left me on August 17th, that woke something else up in me, in my identity that needed to come out. It was another missing part that was always there, but I was kind of pushing it back. Now it had to come to the forefront. So when ancestral timelines close and you are in tune, you get what's necessary. You get the lesson. You get something from them. So, but you have to be clear. You have to know yourself. You have to know your patterns. You cannot position yourself to be exhausted. I was having this conversation, y'all, and I don't know why I'm finna say this part right here, but I'm going to say it anyway because I want us to not be naive. But I'm going to record a separate TikTok about this. Said when my mom passed, a monster rose up, and now I got no people pleasing me. I know that's right. When my best friend died, them boundaries came heavy. I ain't have a boundary before then. Like, so when I say I understand, I understand that aspect. Something wakes up in you. It is. It's like a switch. It's definitely like a switch. The reason why it's really important to know your patterns. If you leave here with nothing, take that diagnostic and get that pattern recognition, because women are being too naive. And let me tell you something about being naive. Okay, in this specific area that I'm going to talk about real quick. I was having this conversation with my sister and my mentee. Women are very naive. Men understand time. Charming men understand time. Ladies, men understand time. Business-minded men understand time. Resourceful men understand time. Broke men understand time. Okay? They call it father time for a reason, because this is the element of understanding time. Women are naive a lot when it comes down to time. And men understand that. And see, this is why you really have to know your patterns, because I'm about to tell you something. Please listen, because I'm not going to repeat it. Women are naive when it comes down to time, because you really believe that you can go out with a man that you don't like just because you're bored. See, that's naive. That tells me that's a woman that's disconnected from her core. She's not in a state of achieving self-mastery if she feels like she can go and give her time to someone because she is bored. So let's just say you decide to be naive with your time and you go out with a man that you really don't even like, right? You're not attracted to him. You don't like him like that. But yet you go out because you're bored and you want to try something new because you didn't try everything else. I'm trying to put this charge on here, so I'm gonna move. So you're trying to do all of these things. And so you go out with the man that you don't like because you're bored. There we go. So you go out with the man because you're bored. And when you go out with the man, the more time you spend with the man, You start looking at him. He don't look that bad. He actually kind of funny. Oh, he got all this going on. He got that going on. He got this. And the more time you give him, the more time you give to anything, women are so naive to the fact that whatever you give your time to, that means your attention is there too. And let me tell you something about attention. It's the highest form of currency in society. When you are watching a television show, a movie that's amazing, if they are able to hold your attention, they are able to get a lot of your time. And the more time they have having your attention, the easier it is for them to manipulate your energy in motion, as in your emotions. Let me prove it real quick. You ever watched a show that you didn't plan on watching, but you ended up watching, and then you ended up becoming a fan of the show because you got emotionally attached to the show? Grey's Anatomy. You start watching and you're like, I don't even like all this. And then something happens and you get caught up in it. You get caught up in the drama of it. So now your emotions, the longer you give your time to something, your attention to something, the longer, the easier it is for your energy to be manipulated. The easier it is for you to be manipulated. That's how you go on a date with somebody you don't like. And then by the end of 3 weeks, you done laid up with him. And then you talking about some, oh, you really like him. You didn't even like him. And then 6 months down the line, you're trying to figure out how you even got yourself in this scenario because you never liked him in the first place. That's because you were naive about your time. The reason why I say men understand time is because y'all ever seen, I'm telling my age, well, I told you I'm 42, but y'all ever saw Family Matters? Steve Urkel basically wore Laura down for years. Men will wear you down to the bone if you give them access. They will wear you down. They will make you like them and you don't even like them. And it's because you give them time, because they understand this. If you give me access to your time, you'll give me access to you eventually. All I need is time. All you need is a vulnerable moment. All you need is this. All you need is that. Stop being naive with your time. You being naive with your time and not paying attention to that is why you keep finding yourself in scenarios with people that you do not even like. Thank you, my love. Gray's had to go. People you don't even like. The longer you give your attention to something, the easier it is to manipulate your energy. Period. And that's exactly what's happening. But if you don't pay attention to your patterns, you won't even catch that. So one aspect of this is I want women to stop being naive with their time. And the quickest way to stop being naive with your time, i.e. wasting your time, is for you to click the link in the bio and get that pattern recognition lens. Because you need to see yourself. Now, if you don't want to see yourself and you want to keep walking around in the world like that, hey, I don't care. Do what you want to do. I think it's unwise. I think it's dangerous. And I hate that for you, because your creator did not create you for you to be out here just allowing yourself to be done in like that and be in any kind of way. No. But if you don't want to prioritize, hey, I can't do nothing about that. But I'm telling you, if you don't start, I don't know why you don't want to pay attention to your patterns. You know what's crazy to me? You know what's crazy to me? Yes, it is on sale today, babe. It's $22 today. You know what's insane to me? Y'all let society track your patterns. You let YouTube track your patterns. You let apps track your period patterns. You let Facebook track your patterns with the stuff you post. You let Instagram do it. You let everybody in the world and society track your patterns but you. That's crazy. That's how they keep pimping you, because they know your patterns. That's why when you get through talking about a black dress, you see a black dress. That's why when you watch one show, another one can pop up just as similar, so you can watch that one too. They study your patterns, and you don't see the value in the data. You don't see how valuable you are. You so valuable, they got to watch every single move that you make so they can try to position you. See, this is what you missing. You let all these folks, you let Kroger, you let the grocery store, you let this, you like that, you let all of this stuff. You let all of this stuff track your patterns. All because you don't want to. And you wonder why you walking around misunderstood. Oh no, baby, you're not misunderstood. You're the one who misunderstands yourself. Society is very well aware of you, your shopping pattern, what you watch, in a minute with that digital ID where you travel to. See, what you think this is? I told y'all months ago. I told y'all months ago 2026 is going to be the year of crowd control. Thank you, my love. It's going to be the year of heavy surveillance. Y'all don't even know what y'all finna see. Y'all don't even know what's finna be like. You don't even know. It's not a joke and it's not a game. You you have to start asking, if your data and your patterns are so important to society, why is that? Why is that? Most importantly, how you let them know you better than you know you. See, people who know you better than you know you can play you. People who know you better than you can play with you. And that's what they do. That's what these corporations do. That's what these companies do. That's what people do. That's what keeps you in the state of victimhood, not paying attention to your patterns. So, pattern recognition lens, click the link in the bio. It's $22. This is not mindset work. This is an immediate tool for you to hurry up and do something different. This and I'm talking about, it works as soon as you implement it. I'm not kidding around. If you ever work with me in any product or service, I'm quick with the frameworks. I'm quick with this is how you do this. That is my gift. My gift is being able to look at things and be able to break it down in such a way a kindergartner can understand. The stuff that I've been able to do, with these gifts, all praise to the Most High, is insane. It's insane. A lot of things on this earth and in the world, especially with humanity, is rooted in misunderstanding, lack of understanding. And the biggest lack of understanding is the lack of understanding of self. If you don't understand yourself, you're not going to understand nobody else. A woman at war with herself will always battle with everybody. You got to figure out you got to uncover your armor. You knowing your trigger is armor. Let me tell you something. Like I said, I'm 42 today, right? I turned 42 today. You don't think it's stuff I did in my 20s? In my 30s? Hell, I'm sure it's something else, who knows? Okay? Because you never know where you're going to be. Thank you, my love. But here's the thing that you got to understand about me. No one can ever shame me for nothing. When I didn't know my value, you can't shame me for that, because I went back and rescued that little girl. See, I care about me. Why? Because I'm aware of what I did when I didn't understand my value. I had compassion for myself because I didn't understand my value. Okay? Thank you, my love. I accepted who I was in that time frame, okay? Because I didn't know my value. And now I care for myself in a way because I know my value. I know my value. Thank you, Delilah. I love you. She said I can test her class, move me to a whole new level. See, when you know your value and you fully accepted yourself, it's like it's like being in chains and realizing you had the key the whole time. And then you take the key and all of a sudden you out. So once I'm like this, what are you going to say to me that's going to put me back like this? Because I've already freed myself from that. So anytime somebody would even try, if they even attempted or tried to bring anything to me, I'm going to say, what about it? Because see, I'm not scared of me. And the amount of people who will watch horror movies but scared to be alone with your own thoughts, because that's the real nightmare, is crazy work. You owe yourself better than that. Pay attention to those patterns. Get that pattern recognition lens. Pay attention to your patterns. See where you are playing yourself in your own life so you can stop being a victim and you can be a victor. See, if you're a victor, you ain't got to be a villain. If you get in alignment, you're going to be a villain anyway. Because they're going to crucify you. Because not you want to do something different. Not you want to be better. Oh, you're going to get crucified. Let me tell you something. You're going to become the villain when you decide that you're going to choose to be a victor. That means you're going to have to slay some things. Okay? And they ain't going to like that. You're going to have to slay their perception of you that you're a people pleaser. No, I can't do that. What you mean you can't do what you always do? Well, I'm not doing it today. How about that? Automatically you're feeling you selfish, you this, you that. See, y'all be too caught up in what people gonna call y'all. That's because you don't know your name. When you don't know your name, you get threatened when other people call you something else. If I know that my name is my name, and you call me witch, you call me whore, you call me this, you call me that, what am I getting offended about if I don't come into agreement with any of those terms? That's silly. Why would I have a power exchange with you or exchange my power? That's what you want. You want me to give you my power. That's why you trying to call me something else. I don't. What we doing? You give people too much power over you because you don't know your name. And when I say you don't know your name, it says in Genesis that you were created in the likeness of the Most High. It says in Genesis that you have the character of the Most High. It also says that you have dominion, which means that you have your own lane. So it would be no need for you to jock nobody, copy nobody, steal from them, be like anybody else. Just absolutely be yourself. It also says that you are beautifully and wonderfully made in another aspect of scripture. So the thing is, if anyone else identifies you as anything else other than who you truly are, what are you getting mad about? What are you getting upset about? Because you don't know your name. See, when you don't know your identity, you'll do that. And it's hard to know your identity when you have not recognized your patterns. You can't say you a queen, but your patterns give peasant, which is why you attract dust. That's why that's happening. If you continue to attract dust, that's because you give the energy of a peasant. I don't care how pretty you dress it up. You are not an energetic match for consistent provision because you don't do that for yourself. You present as a peasant. See, one thing about men is this. Men will see things in you and won't tell you. They won't. They will see things in you and they won't tell you that that's not something they like if they don't like, if they're not, if they're benefiting. A lot of them won't. Men who are untamed, which means men who are not mastered, men who are not actualized, they will not tell you because they seek to benefit from you. But you, on the other hand, if he sleep wrong or throw a towel on the floor or whatever the case may be, streak your floor with his shoe, you got to say something every time. See, that's the difference between you and them. They will sit back and continue to benefit and not tell you a thing. This is why you have to be in tune. Nobody drains the life out of you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention. But if you pay attention to your patterns, if you pay attention to the fact that you like to pick up dust, Cinderella, you like to pick up dust. And you see that's a pattern. See, you can catch yourself before you pick up the dust. Dust is for the dustpan. Okay? You can catch the pattern. And you don't have to repeat the loop. I'm teaching you how to not repeat the loop. You can't afford to go into 2026 repeating the loop. And you'll be able to use this for anything in your life where you are triggered. This is teaching you to position yourself to not be in that. You can implement it immediately. Okay? So also take the feminine architecture diagnostic exam to find out how you are attracting your architecture. What are you, the energy behind it? Okay? Because remember, the pattern recognition is $22 today. The feminine diagnostic, architecture diagnostic is free. It's letting you know the energy that's coming behind the pattern and what you can do about fixing the energy behind the pattern. If it's attachment, it's going to give you love and a nervous system. If it's your baseline, it's going to give you foundations. And today only, those products are 42% off. So you'll be able to get them for $100 something versus the $200 and almost $300 for the regular price. Okay. Any questions before I get ready to get off here? Any questions? Hi, Lovey. Y'all, please stop being naive with y'all time. But if you don't know how to stop being naive with your time, get that, so you get the pattern recognition lens so you can find out your patterns. Okay? It's okay. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. I'm gonna try to put it on before I go to dinner. I might have to keep that sale until tomorrow to be just to my YouTube community, because I don't like to put something out there and then they don't get it until the next day. So I'm gonna extend it until tomorrow for them. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? But like I said, don't get the pattern recognition, child, if you don't want to know about yourself. If you ain't ready to do that work, because it's gonna help you, and you ain't gonna have no more excuses. And don't do the feminine architecture diagnostic if you don't want to know the truth about yourself, because it's gonna tell you about what you have going on and what you're attracting and what you're doing and all of that. Okay. All right, y'all. I've got to go fix my nail and get ready for this evening. Thank y'all so much for being here. All praises to the Most High for granting me 42 years on this planet. And I'm just really, really grateful for the opportunity to do the work that I do and to support as many women, hundreds of women all over the world. I could have never imagined 8 years ago that this is what I would be doing. So I'm so grateful. Please follow what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I don't care what people say. Y'all, I've been able to, through the grace of the Most High and the guidance of the Most High, build a multi-six-figure business from speaking, writing, and teaching. Believe me. And I left work at 35. I'm telling you, it can be done. The first couple of years, it took me a minute. That was my spiritual journey. But when I got into business, I was ready. And the money was rolling. So I'm telling you, your gifts will make room for you. You have got to get rid of those things that are holding you back from activating those gifts. And your patterns and the energy behind what you got going on is going to tell you the truth about you. But to whom much is given, much is required. So you're responsible for what you know. All right? Let me go ahead and go so I can get ready. Y'all have a great night. Peace, y'all.